Welcome to the Alpha Wolf Impact Club. I'm Tim Weintraut, and this is where we shine a light on small companies with big ideas. Our mission here is crystal clear. We want to identify, support, and champion game changers. Those companies that are tackling massive challenges, revolutionizing industries, saving lives, or making us more efficient. For example, Jeff Thompson from Red Cat Holdings. Red Cat is redefining what it means to support defense and security missions. As an all-domain operations company, they're building autonomous systems that deliver critical situational awareness and decision advantage across air, land, and sea. Their focus is empowering frontline operators wherever they serve with the tools to respond faster, act smarter, and stay safer. Tricon, Black Widow, and Fang, Red Cat's family of drones, and now their autonomous boats make Red Cat an impact company. This is not to be taken as investment advice. I am not a certified financial planner. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with a follow-up, long overdue follow-up, but an exciting one at that. One of my favorite stories, still a major favorite story. Red Cat Holdings. I got Jeff Thompson in the house. Jeff,
Woohoo!
good to see you.
Let's go, man.
So, you've probably been a little on the busy side, huh?
Yeah, we've been putting our heads down, just working on everything that's super important for our products and to get ready for what's looking like it's going to be an unbelievable 2026. The way basically all these budgets have changed from 2025 and the $35 million LRIP contract we got, which put us at about 40 million for 2025 for SR, which is great. But the total for the Army in the budget for last year was actually it's right here. It was 70.5 million for sUAS, and this year it's 747 million, 961% increase. So that should be pretty exciting for everybody. But that's a specific line item that we're pulling from as a contract winner.
So let's first address a couple of things. So you've had the recent pullback in the stock, and that was because of misguidance. But
That's
then
my
again,
fault.
look, and I know that everybody wants to beat you up over it.
Good luck.
But the reality is, look, how else were you supposed to go off of what you were anticipating to receive, other than the prior contracts that were awarded to somebody else, right? How else were you supposed to come up with that number? And what you were being told, right? Look, things didn't work out that way. A lot of things happened that I don't think anybody planned. I don't think anybody planned for us to have a government shutdown.
Yeah,
Right?
well, there's a lot of steps that lead up to things like this, which we'll be very cautious on going on in the future. But the our goal was, we thought we'd get approximately what we got, but we got actually more from the U.S. Army for the SRR contract for 2025. But we're also hoping to get 3 months of 2026, but we're not getting that because the continuing resolutions stuff that went into not getting approved till July, and then they shut down the government, and they still haven't approved the new budget, which supposedly it's supposed to be signed end of December or early January, because they don't want it to go past that and have to deal with another shutdown thing. So the budget for 2026 for just the Army's sUAS, which is like I said, went from 70 million that we got 40 million of to 747 million. Now, that doesn't even include the 1.4 billion for small drones for the One Big Beautiful Bill, which goes through 2029. So that is exceptionally more stuff. But I mean, when we got our down select last year, basically a year from now, a year ago, we knew how many systems they were supposed to buy. We knew it would go into a bunch of small contracts. Then, LRIP was the last one. Everyone said, all the haters said that LRIP was going to be 12 million, ended up being 35.1 million, which is, so it gave us a total of about 40 million. Our competitor got about 12 million, and five of that was 5 million that we turned down because we couldn't make them because the Army was still giving us new, issues to add to the drone. So we weren't going to go to mass production just to get a small piece of that pie. So it would have been 45 million for us and 7 million for our competitor. Ended up being 40 to 12. That's a 74% to Red Cat. If you ask Gemini what Red Cat's going to get in 2026 from the budgets, it's insane. It says that between the Big Beautiful Bill and the 747 million, we should get at least 400 million. That's not me. That's me playing on Gemini.
And
Uh,
that's the you also had an announcement for the Gauntlet, right? That
yeah,
just came
Gauntlet
out.
just came out. So the big headline number that's getting everyone really excited is 300,000 drones. And frankly, the only way they're going to get there is mostly it's going to be FPV, one-way attack drones. But people don't understand, or they've never done a ride along to see how they're actually used, like I have. And I was in training, I wasn't in battle. I don't want to, do a Tim Waltz on us all here. But they train like they operate there, and they use, one is none and two is one. So they use two or three Mavics to, it can be 20, sometimes it's 40, is as many as they can carry FPV drones. So if they're trying to do 300,000 drones, it's going to have to be cut back to, 250, and 50,000 of those are going to have to be ISR drones because FPV is useless without the us getting the targets for them and to give the shooter something to shoot down. It's literally how it works. So
Right.
it's going to be a good portion of those are going to have to be from SOR, short range reconnaissance, which is exactly what they're supposed to do is go find targets so FPV can go in and kill him. So this gauntlet's going to be massive, absolutely massive for Red Cat.
So I think I find it interesting because one of the things that I'm very excited about for Red Cat, yes, the drone stuff. I'm still excited about that. What I'm really excited about though is the boats. I don't think anybody. I don't think you're getting any valuation.
Oh, we're getting zero. We're getting zero, which is fine because you know what? It's, people don't understand that, they're not hearing from us. We're not being very vocal. What we're doing is going into places constantly to work on our boats, to make sure that they're getting proven every single day. They're in a proven environment every single day. So we get the best tech stack out there. We get a 3-year head start. 3-year head start on all these people that are just starting to learn how to build USVs here in the United States. And then we got boat builders that are the best in the world. All right. Our hulls are going to be magnificent. You combine our tech stack, our hulls, our scalability. We've done this before. The people that we hired to build the Blue Ops team, Barry Hinckley and Sandy Spalding, they're building an incredible A team. The tech that we're putting into these things has never been done. So the improvements we're getting on our partners from Europe are going to be unbelievable. And because they're trying to just get stuff out there, just like FPV drones, just get something out there that works and can go kill bad guys, blow up all those ships. Uh, but we're looking at refinements. We're looking at ways to make sure that our boats are so stable when we fire missiles to try to take down a plane that we have great aiming capabilities with that. When we launch torpedoes, when we launch our swarms off of these boats, I mean, having Blue Ops gives us a huge advantage over our other drone competitors that just have drones that can only launch on land. We now have a Navy. One of them, the V11, we're basically calling an aircraft carrier. It's going to have so much stuff on them. We'll have swarms. We'll have kind of some bigger bomber drones that can drop heavier loads. They can go, we can get you 1,000 to 1,200 nautical miles into theater. Then we can put drones that can actually go another 80 kilometers. And you're deep into the enemy and you don't care if they come back, right? So we got torpedoes that'll be on these things that can launch underneath. We'll have the the missiles for surface to air. And then, these things are filled with explosives. If we think it's worth killing a $600,000 boat to take out $1 billion ship, we'll do it, and we'll have swarms of these things.
I mean that's what I'm talking about because you're not talking. I mean, look, the drone's $35,000 drone or a $15,000 drone or $2,000 Fang drone, right, or
Yep.
whatever. I mean, you're talking about $600,000, $700,000 for one of these
Yeah, the
autonomous
baseline,
boats.
the V7's around 750. If you get some volumes, you can get it down. But so, you sell 100 boats at 75 million, you sell 300 boats, it's a lot more than that, right? So, 225 plus, I mean, all the revenue that we've been talking about and any projections or any stuff like, for instance, Q4. So, um, everyone's all bummed out that we brought down our guidance after we had to sit through all these weird government issues and not getting our contract signed until July, so we couldn't start building them until August. But the when you look at what we're doing, we're going from 3 million in revenue. Our guidance was like 23 million for Q4. Let's just call it 24 million. So 800% growth in 2 quarters. I mean, that's insane, and that puts us at 100 annual run rate for 2026 coming out of Q4. So, we're not getting credit for a lot of things, and it's because we're in the penalty box. That's fine, but I don't care if I'm in the penalty box right now. We're so well funded. I don't have to kiss Wall Street's ass. I appreciate our investors, but right now we can just put our heads down, and some of the things we're doing with the Black Widow, which people will find out soon enough, it's going to be one of the most capable drones in the battlefield, real battlefields, proven battlefields. We're not just talking about a requirements document that we can all go fly around and everyone's like, oh my gosh, the camera's not perfect. The bottom line is almost all of these drones that we compete against don't work. They do not work in a real theater. So what are you going to do? Give that to the warfighter? Oh, we sold it. Okay, great. We got $100 million contract of drones that really don't work. Are you
Right.
happy giving that to a warfighter? I wouldn't be happy about that. I'd be embarrassed, and frankly, I think it's sick. You're going to give a tool to a soldier that could get them killed. So we're we're concentrating on making sure that the drones that we're making are going to be worthwhile giving to our soldiers, and we've got a unique little team that's working on a lot of this. I'm not going to say their names, but they're doing a great job. They know who they are. And so we're going to have one of the most capable drones out there, and we're going to put that across all of our other platforms. We're going to take all those lessons learned, put it on the Triton. It's going to be right behind the Black Widow. But literally, all this revenue that we're talking about is only for the Black Widow right now.
Right.
So we haven't even really ramped up the other revenue streams. We're kind of taking it on the chin, just going to fill some of the backlog for the Edge 130. And then we're going to switch over to the Triton, make it a much more hardened uh, package. Right now, it's a great bird. When it's in the air flying, it does stuff no one else can do. But you hand it to a soldier, and it's going to last about 3 flights. Just they're fragile. They're too fragile. So we're gonna fix that. I mean, when we acquired Teal, they had a prototype, and we had to build a factory, build processes, hire all these teams. We actually had to take it over. The Golden Eagle was a piece of crap, and that's not unusual for a first prototype. I mean, if and Teal 2 is now it's a pretty darn good bird, but it can't do EW, so I'm not going to hand that to soldiers. Where there's uh, if it's not just for training or things of that or stuff in the U.S. But it's a good bird now. But the Black Widow, is really a good bird. So if you look at FlightWave, same thing. We got a prototype machine that came out of some founders that built something very unique, very capable, but not very robust as a machine that's got to be in a battlefield. So the new version is going to be battlefield capable. It's not going to be fragile. It's still going to have great flight time. We haven't updated the battery on that thing. It hasn't been updated in 3 or 4 years. we're already getting 70 minutes. So we're going to be able to get way more than that when we upgrade the batteries. We're doing a lot of great stuff with the battery technology like we did for the Black Widow. Black Widow is now best in class for endurance. Like we hit 56 minutes the other day at 4,000 feet. So, certain times we could probably hit over an hour with a quad, unheard of, totally unheard of, which also equates to better range.
Right.
So there's some really interesting things that we're doing there. And we're pretty excited about how we're going to bring that to the Triton, which are all going to launch off the Red Cat Navy called Blue Ops.
Right. I mean, look, I know that people like to some people like to look in the rear view. I'm not one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that likes to look forward. I like to look at the here and now and where you're going, right? And I can tell you that you and I have known each other for a long time now. I mean, it's been years, right?
Yeah.
And I stuck with you because I felt as though you were always a straight shooter. I mean, you never bullshit me. I mean, you did what you say you
Well,
were going to
I
do.
get a little, I really always look for the best possible outcome. I don't like to be a pessimist. And I'm like a lot of other people, I'm in some good company for missing deadlines for stuff that does eventually happen, which, when your customers, the governments across the globe, there's nothing I can do to make a contract go quicker.
Right, right. There are things that are beyond your control,
Yeah,
and
but I'm still a forever optimist. We're going to always figure out ways to solve problems. We're going to, we get feedback from a battlefield. We're going to just go and fix it. We're not going to just say, "Oh, well, it meets the requirements. Let's sell it to them anyway." No, we're going to make sure that what we give to a soldier is actually going to work.
you just nailed one of the reasons why I intuitively thought that you were going to get the contract because during that 5 year span, one thing you consistently said to me was that we are giving them the bird that they're asking for. We're not putting something together that we think we're listening to our customer and we're giving them what they want. To
Yeah. Well,
me,
think about this. This is crazy. Um, for the SRR requirements document, EW wasn't even in there. We made sure that we made sure our drone was EW capable, and you know, I'll just say our competitors didn't. Uh, so all the 12 million of drones are just useless in a real battlefield that are getting fielded. So, but I mean, it just if you look at we were late, we were late, we were late. We get it, we if we and and it's not like the revenue went away. I literally said this on the call and, ripped off the Band-Aid. Everything's just shifted. We're going to do about, a little under 40 million for 2025, right? And we did that basically in 1 quarter and a half.
right,
So because we had to wait on our customer to finalize the bird at the last change, I think was July 27th. And then we still had to make a delivery on the 15th of August, and we did. So, but like I said, I've said it before, every quarter is going to be a record. Last quarter was a record, by far. If what we gave for guidance, 23, which is again, triple digit sequential growth. That's two quarters in a row with triple digit sequential growth. We expect Q1 to be great too. And now this is again, and that's even without the other two divisions helping yet, and without any other acquisitions that we might announce. So, we are leaning on Mitch at Teal, the president of Teal, and he's doing a great job, and his team's doing a great job. But our manufacturing is through the roof right now.
yeah. I was just gonna ask you, and I'm not holding you. I don't want you to give me a number that I'm trying to hold you to. Okay, I'm just saying, are you comfortable with the capacity of what you can produce?
So people always just get into these weird conversations. Oh, they don't have enough scale. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. I said, do you know how many 50 a day are? You're that's 1,000 drones a month. It's you know, that's 37 million, right? Can we do? We've actually figured out we can do 200 to 300 in our existing footprint. Now that we doubled the size of Teal again, We've doubled the size of Teal again. We just doubled the size for FlightWave again in our manufacturing capability. We are very comfortable doing 200 to 300 a day, which is about 6,300 drones a month, which is what, 250 million, 220 million a month. So that's here and now. I'm not worried about our production capability. And that's without us building the fangs now. So, the fangs are actually starting to get pretty popular. We've had some people from other countries, from Indo-PACOM, come in, and they immediately wanted a bunch. So we're pretty excited. And we got all these the PBAS fly-offs and all this stuff, and the Gauntlet that we'll be flying in. We're pretty excited. And like I said, that's just all additive to what we've been talking about with the Black Widow. Again, the budget for the small UAS, which is just the Army, it's not the other branches. If you look at the other branches, it's way higher. But from 70 million in 2025 to 747 million, plus 1.4 billion on top of that, is quite an increase from the new administration. So, and out of the 70 million, we got 40 million. So,
So
do the math.
comments like you're a customer of Palantir. You are a customer, but you're also
Absolutely a customer. They make great software. They make factory basically operating systems. They're going to make us more profitable. They're going to raise our margins. We're pretty close to being done with Teal, and the next step is FlightWave, and then they're going to finish up at Valdosta. Yeah, we are a customer. We will be a customer for a long time. We're also a software partner that we developed together with the visual navigation that we're selling. That's a product that we both are working on together every single day to make visual navigation work on the Black Widow, and it does. So that's fantastic. That's going to bring up our margins. We have a lot of partnerships with companies like this, but this one's just incredible to have the support. I'm actually excited they're bringing me to the Army Navy game this weekend. So it's going to be exciting, and hopefully going to meet a lot more folks at the company. And I'm proud to be working with those guys. They're smart as hell, and they get stuff done real quick.
so I look at the platform that you had, like you said, I look at those boats and I start thinking about all the different combinations of different things, whatever the mission is they want to have swarms, or they want to have, depending on what they want on that boat. I mean, who knows,
Mhm.
right? But that gives you, I mean,
Look at it increases our capability to launch from 29% of the globe to 100% of the globe. We can launch
right,
anywhere in the water.
80% of the way is in water.
So we are, if you're only a land-based company, you can't launch. And there's going to be some really exciting companies that uh that want to be on our boats. And a lot of them are, well, actually almost all of them are much bigger than us. And when we start combining that with torpedoes and missiles, or what other loitering munitions they're going to fly off these things, plus our bomb drones, plus our uh, Triton, the Black Widow, um, we'll have so many. We're standardizing our payloads now, and Barry and his team are constantly going over to Europe to look for other payloads that are being successful. We don't want to have, we want to use stuff that we know is being super successful as payloads, but we're going to be standardizing them, and actually probably have to use US partners, or we can use these guys. A lot of people want partners in the US right now to export their technology. We're one of the first to do it out of Europe. Um, we're stoked that we are basically building ourselves a whole new market with Blue Ops.
Right, right. Was it, did I dream this or did you tell me this? I can't remember. But you send out your boats where they got mines in the water, right? Like net mines, I guess is what you.
Yeah, so
Is that
it's not just what they're doing over in the war in Ukraine. Is they're not just developing great, incredible technology that the whole world should listen to. Frankly, when I was at AUSA, the biggest army show of the year, almost all the people I talked from the army saying, if your stuff doesn't work in that theater, truly work, then we're not going to buy it. And they have more boats than the Navy, by the way. But back to that, these these payloads and are great, but it's also the tactics. So some of the things that we do, I mean, we'll have jet boats which have no propellers, right? So that's actually the Hinckley family, which Barrett Hinckley runs Blue Ops, started the jet boat craze in 1994. They know how to do jet boats better than anyone in the world. So well, you can take jet boats because there's nets with mines, right? So you got props. You could just throw one in to waste it with props, right? Pull all the mines in, explode the boat. Who cares? You got 20 others flying in there trying to kill these massive targets. You've got missiles launching at it. If they've got aircraft trying to protect their carrier fleet, I mean, there's going to be so many interesting ways to use this technology.
Right.
Using it to protect the big fleet, go way out ahead of it, be 300-400 miles out in front of the fleet, using EW to block stuff. Excuse
And
me.
you can control these things from 2,000 miles away, right?
Yeah, we have the capability to drive a boat that we just uh, you know worked on in near the new showroom in West Palm Beach. We can drive it from Australia if we want, and we might have. I don't know if that's even legal, um, but we might have alleged. Um, but yeah, it's we can drive. I mean, and Red Cat's been doing remote piloting. Gosh, if you go look at our press releases, we did a big inspection during COVID
In
in
Italy, in
yeah,
Italy, from
yeah,
Florida.
from Florida, exactly.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so I mean, we know how to do remote piloting. We've been doing it for quite some time. But the people that we're working with on our tech stack are veterans and really great partner to have.
So, when do you feel as though you're actually in a position to start selling boats? I mean,
We just
because
turned down some sales.
what's that?
We just turned down some sales. I'm not going to say which country. I think it was for two or three boats. They wanted them immediately, and I was like, we got these first 10 coming off the line for demos, and we don't want to ruin the demo team by that's going to be bigger sales and greater sales. So, uh, y- you know, we've turned down sales already, but I expect uh, I expect hopefully the first few sales could come in the end of Q1, and we'll start delivering in Q2.
So I would imagine there's going to be some press releases about when you do come out with a new boat and its new functions and features, and are you going to have demo? You're
We're
going
going
to
to
have
let
demos.
people see it very soon and in person.
Yeah. So how is the facility in Georgia coming along?
Oh, it's phenomenal. We've got a great team. Uh, Someone was sending me some more hater stuff this morning about we have a billboard. We have a billboard in Georgia, and they're like, "What the hell do they have a billboard for?" It's like, again, another jackasses that have never built a company. You need employees, and in Georgia, that section of Georgia, really awesome.
Where is it at, Jeff, in
It's
Georgia?
in Valdosta. It's kind of they call it kind of the fiberglass belt. When this factory was getting mothballed by another company that they were making 850 boats there a year, uh, lake boats, and then they consolidated with a company in Orlando. So the uh, the employees all went off to like jacuzzi tubs are there, right? Another big fiberglass shop. Another bath place is called Bath. So we got to steal all his employees back. So um, we got some really good leaders. We got some really great boat builders, master boat builders, naval architects. We already got the tooling going out of the Hodgson team, which makes some of the best boats in the world. No, I mean, if you're the third and fourth richest person in the world, you buy your boats from these guys. Some of the most complex boats ever built. Um, so it's going to be some pretty unique stuff that we're going to be putting on these boats that's not in the existing versions you see out there that have been very successful in real theaters. Um, but we're going to be adding some really key items that no one thought about. But yeah, so we'll hopefully get our first sales at the uh, the end of Q1. We're getting an incredible response from the U.S. government. We're getting right to the people we need to. Having certain partnerships and the things that happened at REPMIS really helped us. The U.S., I don't think won anything. They had to show up with these really crappy old boats. Actually, there was an article in the uh, uh, Reuters talking about all those drones that didn't work because the software failed, blah, 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 the, boats. They didn't fare well either in REPMIS, and our partner went 5-0. But anyway, 2026 is shaping up, even just on the Black Widow, between, going from 70 million to 747 million in the budget. Currently, it's got to get signed. It still could change. Got to
Right.
put those little, quotes around it.
Throw a bunch of caveats out there, all right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I mean, look,
I don't think anyone that's not a moron doesn't know that if you don't realize that small drones are the focus of this administration, then they're, good luck shorting the stock.
uh, I just think that there's a whole lot of stuff that is not being taken into consideration. There's
Well,
a lot of negative chatter, a lot of negative, stupid talk to me. I mean, it's just all stupid talk to me.
well, hey, all these a lot of people have been burned by drone companies in the past. Okay, this is a show me. You've got to prove it. You got to stamp that. Our just under $10 million quarter was a good quarter for us, but it's still small, right? And if we're going to have these valuations, right, that some of the momentum stocks have had, now we're going to get to closing on 25 in a quarter, which puts you at $100 million run rate, which probably should be closer to a 2.2 billion based on all the other multiples. Not, no, I don't make the multiples based on all the other multiples that companies are getting in the space. But you got to prove it. So until people see that release of the top line that we're going to do in January, um, people aren't going to believe it until we print it, right? It's got to see it
Right.
on the tape. And then, we're excited for each quarter going forward. We gotta deliver some boats. People got to see these boats coming off the production line, which they're going to be doing, and they're going to be badass. Man, these things are going to be badass. We got to get the Triton out. We're, some of these bumps and bruises are self-inflicted by us. We're not going to deny it, but now we're moving on. It's learn from it. As I said in the Q call, that we're not going to put out any guidance on, specifically on the Black Widow for 2026 until we actually have a signed contract.
Right.
Which we're hoping, usually it's right around this time of the year that we get our contracts done with the Army. So we are hoping the OTA slash what some people are calling a full rate production contract is signed in early Q1 or later this month. Who knows? I have no idea when it's going to come. I can't force their pen onto the signature line. So, but the good news is we'll be delivering drones every month to the Army, and like I said, we're pretty excited.
Yeah, so let me just recap here real quick. So you just said you doubled your facility, and if I remember correctly, the one in you thought is what, 25,000? It was 25, almost 30,000 square feet. So that puts
Well,
you
we're
at
up to
about
like the
50.
total place now is 50,000 square feet, and now we're able to put the engineers in a certain section so they're not sprinkled out throughout the whole buildings. So it's a little bit better organized. Chris Erickson, our now COO, who just got promoted, um, is really just hitting the ground running to have us build in just speed and volume, right? If you listen to the Hegseth speech, which was great, the Arsenal of Freedom. If you haven't seen it, you should. But speed and volume are key. They also mentioned we'll take products that are 85% done and we'll get the rest done. We'll get it to 100% after we give you the purchase order. I don't believe that whatsoever. They keep giving us more and more stuff and requirements. They literally changed the drone 2 weeks before they were supposed to get it shipped to them. So I would, we think they should be taking 75% of the features off of the requirement stocks from what we're learning in true proven battlefields. When in for the Mavics they use in Ukraine, they don't use 80% of the stuff that's on that drone. and to make them super simple and reliable to use. But they're so fragile. They are consumer toy drones, so they don't last long over there. So,
Right. All
but
right. So, and then you said you doubled also the facility for Triton for flight for the F-130, right?
yep, yeah, when Sean, I gave him here's what you got to go do. Here's your mission. You got to be able to get to this capacity at this certain time. And he said, you're not going to like this because to get to that capacity, I need a bigger place, which he knows what he's doing. He built the Switchblade 600 line for aero environment to get to the scale that we wanted. He says, we're going to slow it down in 2025 on top of the other issues that we had. And to get to the scale you want, I think they're moving in right now, like literally this week. So they'll be overlapping on the two factories. So they'll set that factory up properly to be able to do the scale that we want. So, hopefully the flight wave can really start to contribute next year, which will be exciting. So, all that stuff that I talked about from the U.S. government, which 70 million last year, 747 million this year, plus the new 1.4 billion from the big beautiful bill, is getting deployed now. They want this ASAP. So, and that's mostly just Black Widow. When we start getting the Triton into the mix, Fang into the mix, the V7 into the mix, the aircraft carrier, the V11 into the mix, the 5 or 6 meter kamikaze boat into the mix, which there's a lot of interesting RFPs in Indo-PACOM out there for the 5 or 6 meter. So, um, you combine all that, 2026 is going to be nuts. And we're poised and we're well financed for it.
How much manufacturing? I mean, so now with the 50/50, and then did you have a place in Maine too, or no?
With prototype shop in Maine, yeah. So, they'll produce all our new stuff, and we want to go from prototype to tooling in like 3 to 4 months. They'll continue to do that. They'll be a very steady boat builder for us for hopefully forever. Um,
Right.
so, we've got a very interesting model we're looking at with those folks that they have expertise on that no one else does. But so we got about 155,000 square feet in uh, Georgia. So this is really interesting because these boats don't need a woodworking part of the room. We don't need plumbing for bathrooms. All the stuff that was in this factory that was producing 850 boats a year previously, we think we can triple that in this facility because a lot of the stuff that used to take up space could just
Yep.
be another production line. So we actually just finished our splash pool. It's a big mammoth pool that's indoors. So in the last part of the production line, the boat actually literally gets splashed off the crane. We have these big cranes that go all the way down the entire factory, and when it finishes, it ends up in a splash pool. Make sure it floats. Fingers
It's
crossed.
awesome,
No.
man.
Uh, yeah. So that is they just finished the pool. Actually, they just redid it. It was already there. Um, but we redid it completely, so it's going to be able to handle all these new boats coming in there, and they'll be able to even do the 11 meter. It's big enough to do the 11 meter. Um, so we're pretty stoked that that'll be coming off the line too.
You know, I think you said it best when look, you are building a company. You're not building a stock, right?
Yep.
And you're building it for the long haul.
Yeah,
You
I actually I stole some of the this great interview with Jeff Bezos when his stock like went from 100 and something or $100 down to six. And they were, someone from Wall Street was interviewing and, saying, what the hell? This is disgusting. It's horrible, blah, blah, blah. And Bezos didn't even blink. He's like, listen, I talked to my employees. I'm like, is the revenue going up every quarter? Yes, revenue is going up. Are the margins getting better? Yes, margins are getting better. Are we achieving every metric that we are trying to do and improving each quarter? Yes, they are. It's like, all right, we're a business. We're not a stock. I want our stock to be 50. I'm the largest shareholder. But it's not going to stay at 50 if it's just a bunch of, press releases, which a lot of people do. So what we want to do is just the only way to have long, sustainable, good, shareholder value and a great stock price is revenue growth. So and margin expansion, and that's every quarter is going to have better revenue. Every quarter is going to have better margins. It's going to get lumpy because sometimes we get like, we'll probably break it out so people can understand. So the Black Widows, we're making a ton of them now. We're shipping every month now. This month twice, we've got two big shipments going out. So those margins are going to get better and better as we're stamping out the same drone over and over. Now, Blue Ops, if we just replace when they start selling drones and we take all their stuff, it's going to drag margins down for a big, like when we had the original Teal factory, we're trying to build, and we had all of the factory, all of the costs, and zero revenue because we couldn't ship it yet. So we
Right.
went from negative 10% gross margins to plus 10% gross margins, to 30% gross margins, and then on the Teal 2, and then we shut it down to the Black Widow. So we're going to see that same progression on the Black Widow now. So we'll break it out so people can understand the progress we're making on margins per product. Because if you take a brand new boat that's brand new facility, 155,000 square feet, probably 70 to 90 employees building those boats, fully loaded cost basis without the revenue, it's going to make our margins look like crap. But we'll segment that so people can understand and follow each product line. And as
Right.
all of them get to their improvements in margin, which they all will every quarter, they'll get better. And we'll have some pretty darn good margins on the boats, which is exciting. And then the Black Widow margins, once we start selling this visual nav, and we're actually working with Palantir to sell this. They've actually pitched it to their customers for us, which is fantastic. So that'll bring our margins up for the Black Widow also. And then when Triton starts to just stamp out the Triton, which is an also higher margin aircraft, the margins will get better. So I had to basically steal that speech with some of our teams at Red Cat. I was like, listen, we intentionally reset the street because we had to. We can't force the government to stay open. We can't control a lot of things. And we'll just be more cautious with forward guidance. We hope to get in that rhythm of, okay, here's our guidance. Oh, here, another good quarter. Up your next quarter's guidance, hit that next quarter's guidance, but we're not there yet. But we're set up to do that now that we have ripped off the Band-Aid. And that's the goal, is to just build quality products that the warfighter could actually use if a war broke out, not what they're going to practice with in some field where they won't get killed. And the same thing with these boats. We want these things to go into theaters and be truly lethal, cannot be jammed, and launch stuff that can't be jammed. We think we're there.
I just keep thinking about the comment of that about you being a customer. You're going to be a customer and a
Oh,
partner.
these stupid short reports. You don't see anything else on these. They advertise, all these lawyers advertise in the news to try to come up on your stock ticker all the time. I haven't seen them in a while, but it's like, okay, your contract's going to be for 12 million. It was for 35 million. Palantir's not a partner. 2 weeks later, we announced a partnership that we finalized the VNAV software, and we're selling it together as a team. So they can keep putting these things out. So the greatest part, right? Look at the J book, which the cocaine dude, the guy that loved cocaine and driving drunk, he said that the J book, there's no way in 2025 we're not going to get any revenue. It's only going to be 250 systems. It ended up being 812 systems in LRIP alone. Now the J book is saying 2,900 systems that's in the J book. That was before drone dominance came out. The executive order came out. The shipbuilding executive order came out. We got 40 million in revenue for 2025 contracts out of SRR. You don't think it's going to be larger in 2026 when the budget went from 70 million to 747? Now it's not signed yet, but it looks like that number keeps hanging in there every week when stuff's getting scratched, right? And that doesn't. Plus the 1.4 billion that's already signed by the continuing resolution for the big beautiful bill. That's 1.4 billion right there, small drones. So, good luck with those. You can't say you're shorting it because the J book said this, and when the new J book comes out and it's 2,900 systems, not 250 like you said it was. So screw you, your data's wrong, but it met the narrative, right? They met the narrative temporarily, and they probably made money. But we're here for the long term. We're
No,
building
look,
a
that
family.
is the thing that you should always know is that these guys aren't putting these articles out because they're really good citizens and they're trying to save people from losing money. They are literally
No, they
sending
look to
these
make a
things
few
out.
dollars, and they're out before everybody else. They're shorting the stock before they put out their reports, which, if we did that in the opposite direction, you go to jail. So,
Yep.
but anyway, they make their few bucks, they move on. The only way to shake out these shorts is to just hit them with a good quarter and then hit them with another good quarter.
And then hit them with
And
another one. Right. You're right.
that's what we're going to do. Well, more importantly, as you were mentioning earlier, we're not a stock, we're a business. And again, I want our shareholders to do very well as the largest one. But it's not going to be a long-term stock price if it's not long-term thought process. And now with all the cash that we have in the bank and things are looking really good with the Office of Strategic Capital, as we
Oh,
mentioned on the
that's right. I
last.
forgot about the office with strategic capital.
Yeah, that's
Right. That's
$56 million. We're still in the mix. They've already turned down a lot of people, and we're not turned down yet. So, and we've had a lot of meetings with them recently. So that could be some very a good chunk of non-dilutive capital. But we ended that queue with 212 million, and add this hopefully, possibly 56 million. But anyway, when you're well financed like this, you can just turn the noise off on the street and just meet with your teams, meet with your product guys, go see these test flights, go meet with your customers. I've got some incredible meetings later this month with our now biggest customer, the Army. How do we bring the next levels in? How do we get visual nav on top of these products into these contracts? There's so much money right now for sUAS, which is our line item for LRR, MRR, SRR, and SBS, which is FLIR. LRR and MRR are not production contracts yet. So they're obviously going to get money, but they're not going to get a big chunk of it until they go into production. So SRR is going to get, I believe, is going to get a lion's share. Well, we got 40 out of 70 million this year. I think we'll get a lion's share of the 747 if that stays in the budget. And then the 1.4 billion. How much are we going to get of that? A lot of it's going to go to a lot of different FPV folks, which you're gonna need a ton of them. But every 10 FPV drones or every 20 FPV drones needs at least one ISR drone to do the targeting.
yeah.
Uh, so that's crucial, and we're well placed for that. But we also make fangs, so we're pretty excited about what's going to happen with all this money that what didn't exist. It was 70 million last year. Now it's 1.4 billion plus 740. Yeah, it's over 2 billion for a small drone category.
Right. Right. This is what I know about you, man. You are very you're very calm. Yeah, I mean, you seem very, very calm. You seem very driven. I know that for a fact. I know you're driven. I think this is I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for you.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely going to be a great year. A lot of drone companies are going to do well this year.
Right.
You've
Of
got
course.
UMAC also, and I'm a co-founder with Alan on UMAC. Uh,
Yep.
it's doing great. And him and I just had a dinner for a bunch of investors in Puerto Rico. We had I think we had about 40 people at that dinner. But UMAC's going to crush it. Ondas. A lot of people are like, oh, I think I must hate Eric or something. I think Eric's doing a great job over at Ondas. And he's doing what he's supposed to be doing with all that capital is going out and trying to bring some tech, you
Yep.
know, into the fold for Ondas, which he's doing very rapidly, which is great, which you have to do, right? The key thing that we're learning from, like for instance, when you're partnering with European or Israeli companies, um, the quickest thing you do have to do is get that manufacturing done in the United States.
Right.
Regardless of what people say, all these people are saying, "Oh, we're all going to bring in this Ukrainian technology in the United States." It's not how it's going to work. It's going to be partners and made in USA factories. It's got to be
Yep.
made in USA factories, and that's what we're talking to a lot of incredible companies over in Eastern Europe, and they are, very excited. But on top of that, they're very patriotic, and they have to worry about fighting the existing war that they're in. But a lot of this technology could be used by the U.S. warfighter, but it's going to be made in USA, and we're learning how to do that right now. We're making made in USA boats. We're looking at some other technologies that we're going to switch to be making made in USA. So there'll be a lot of partnerships coming out of a lot of different regions. But yeah, so Ondas, I think they're going to do great. So it's Aero Environment. They are, gosh, I think that they're going to do great. It's the
It-
primes I'd be worried about, the big primes, and they'll just try to swoop up all the smaller guys.
oh
But
yeah, I think there's gonna. Yeah, you're right. I think that will happen. They're not gonna just go away, right? Andrew, they're gonna be another
oh,
one.
Anduril's great. I mean, they got bashed. They had that hit piece um, come out recently, and it's just you know I don't know how the reporting was done, but it's I've seen a lot of good stuff come out of Anduril, and they all say that the Ghost isn't working. From what I've heard, they had that fixed like 6 months after they got there. Um, I could be wrong with that
I
assumption
mean,
also.
that's kind of the process you go through is the prototype stuff, right? I mean, it's not going to come out and work perfectly
Oh
right
yeah,
out
the
of
Teal
the
2
gate.
failed miserably with EW. Uh, I mean, it was embarrassing, And the good news is our competitor still uses that radio that didn't work. Um, but the Black Widow is very EW robust. So we're pretty excited about that. So it's it's has to be.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is things are. That's why you do prototypes. That's why you do. I mean, you test things,
Everyone
and
has to go through that, right? It's your first drone's going to suck. Your second drone's going to be decent. Now it's pretty good. Your third drone should be where you really start to hit your stride. I think it was like the third iPhone was literally followed that same pattern.
right.
You
What
know?
are they up to now? iPhone
Yeah,
15? Or I
yeah.
mean, they get progressively better. The tech gets better. The partners are.
And the cameras. I mean, you can shoot movies with an iPhone, and I mean, if you look at some of the smart things that DJI did was they bought a Hasselblad, right? So one of the best camera companies in the world. And if you go to the website, it says camera drone, right? It's a camera drone, right?
Right.
Which is just probably a smart way to put it. So you're going to see a lot of new focus on us with our cameras. And we will have some very interesting new modules. Everything we do is modular uh, on the camera side, but we're really going to be working on having some of the best capabilities on our next camera fix,
Yep.
which will equate over to the Triton, which will equate. I mean, we'll probably be like a cyber beast with I think 5 or 7 cameras on the Blue Ops boats.
Yep.
The ones that are being used right now in theater only have really a first person view in the front. We're going to have 360-degree views, give you full situational awareness. You'll know who your boats are next to you, friend or enemy. You'll know they're there. You won't just be looking like an FPV console, which is, they're at the speed of war over there. I'm not bashing that, but the enhancements that we have that we're putting on our boats is just incredible.
I can't wait to see it, man. I mean, I can't
Not
wait to
that
see
far
it.
off, believe me.
All right, Jeff. I think we covered. Do you feel like we missed anything?
No, I think the Black Widow's hitting its stride right now. Like I said, almost everything we talked about has just been the Black Widow revenue, right? 70 million last year, which is 2025, and 747 million plus 1.4 billion this year. So we think we're going to get a big chunk of that pie, and we have the scale, and we can ship. We can ship them. So we're making them every single day. So
What any
yeah.
any hiccups on like chips or anything like that, man? Anything that you're concerned about?
Yeah, so we're one of the key items, and frankly, the Office of Strategic Capital is really focusing on this, is making sure that the entire supply chain is shored up. And we are really looking at ways to integrate some of our parts of our drones and to share more architecture across our drones and our boats. So there's some very interesting things that you might see us come up with ways to integrate and or own a lot more of the tech inside of uh, our aircraft.
Okay. Okay. Right. We didn't talk. That's the one thing we didn't talk about is potential acquisitions. Right.
Yep,
Yeah. And
we're always
you're a
talking to
pretty inquisitive guy.
yeah, we're talking to 4 to 6 companies at all times. Lots of times it takes, a lot of them are startups. It takes them a long time to trust it. Then you t tell them to talk to the previous guys, and they're fine. But when you have a startup, it's like, oh, it's my baby, which is normal. So sometimes you just partner with them for a while, so they get to know you, and then all of a sudden, like, all right, yeah, everything you said you were going to do, you did. But yeah, we're the acquisitions aren't going to stop coming. So and
Okay.
that's really how we're trying to stamp out warp speed to make sure we have it implemented in each section. You know, Teal's almost done. Next is Flight Wave, and then Blue Ops, and then any other acquisitions that we make, which will be pretty exciting stuff. The stuff that the acquisitions we're really going to where the puck's going on our acquisitions to make sure we're really fighting the next war, not the last war.
Uh, that's it's a famous saying right there. You go where the puck is going, not where it's been.
Yeah, it's and one of the things I saw after the kind of the Arsenal of Freedom speech that Hegseth did is, speed and volume, speed and volume, speed and volume, but more importantly, on top of that, the factory is the weapon. I saw someone post that. I don't know who it is, so I can't give you credit, but I saw that. I was like, that's it. I mean, the factory's the weapon. If you can have the most exquisite, smartest weapon on the planet, if you can only make one of them, it's useless.
Right.
And I know we all know who Elon Musk is, but he repeatedly tells you how hard manufacturing is, and it is. So, we're getting really good at it now. And the good news is on the Blue Ops side, we're kind of doing the opposite. We have a mature tech stack that's got a 3 year head start, and then we've got boat builders that I'm always like, well, we got to get the hulls and this and that. They stop me and say, Jeff, we have no concern of making the boat side of this. This is easy for us to do. I've been doing it for 20 years. My family's been doing it for 100 years. I'm just like, I'm panicked. I'm like, well, I just want to see one come off the line. I want to see the tooling. I want to see the pictures. Just show. I want to see the motors go in them, which we're doing right now. And it's just like, so Blue Ops is a completely different way we've done it. We've never done it this way with a whole new division. It's going to cover 71% of the globe. 70,000 miles plus of coastline in the United States. Think of oh yeah, we didn't cover this because it's a political football right now, but I jokingly, not really, talked about how the all the stuff in the Gulf of America and the cartel stuff is going to be a whole new place for us to play to help this administration secure our safety. We could have hundreds of boats out there just going 24/7, no human beings. They don't get tired. They don't need breaks. They don't need sleep. They don't get hungover. There's all these things that we could be doing. That's a whole new theater for us. Never mind all the stuff that we're doing for Indo-PACOM. And oh, one of the interesting things, I don't know if it's just announced that Replicator now is getting moved out of the DIU. So, and I think SOCOM is going to have a big piece of that, which is really compelling for Red Cat. That's just another piece that just moved because it looked like Replicator was flailing, and I now I don't think it will. So that's another chunk of revenue that's a good possibility that's already funded. So add that on to all this stuff. Oh, I mean, we're talking about now that 70 million in 2025, almost 2 billion between the 1.4 and the 747 million for small UAS. We didn't even talk about the 2 billion in the bill for boats, small boats. that's in the 2026 budget. It's not going to all go to one company. Hey, I saw that Saronic just got a decent contract. Congratulations to them. We need more than one shipbuilder in the United States that can scale. Just like,
Right.
I used to always say, we need Skydio. We need more than one manufacturer. We need people that know how to build at scale. The only one that can mass produce is us and Skydio in the United States right now, for small drones. And I think uh, I think we're going to be proving the guys that can produce the most in the boat world, and at scale, speed, volume, high quality, super high quality, and we know how to do a really low quality. If someone says, I want the cheapest 5 or 6 meter kamikaze boat, we have a way to do it so cheap with still great tech, but super cheap. But they're not going to last long. So you're not going to use them for practice. You're not going to use them 3 years. You're not going to store them. You're going to
Right.
buy them and bring them to the theater. And we'll have tons of them. They'll be safe, but they'll be super inexpensive. We're making a lot of progress technology-wise, taking incredible expertise in making complex boats and taking it to boats that don't need to be that complex, other than the autonomy stacks, and the weapon systems, which other companies are developing, and they're going to be our payloads.
Right.
So these things are just going to be nuts. But anyway, I should probably shut up because I could talk about our boats all day long, our birds, everything's. To summarize, the budgets are massive for us for 2026, 10x compared to what we had last year for the aircraft. And literally, that's just the Army. We didn't even talk about the other branches, which we've done very well with in the past. And the boat budget is massive. And the Triton is a very sought after drone. We just got to get producing it as quickly as we can.
Right. Like I said, you seem very calm. You seem like you're very organized. It seems like you're very focused on the business. And that's, to me, that's comforting. I'm not worried about the fact that you missed. That means nothing to me. I want to look, I'm looking at where we're going, and I just think it's going to be one hell of a ride,
And
man.
none of that revenue went away. It just got pushed into the future because of all of the government issues. So that revenue's not gone. That's still there. And a lot of that's left over. But anyway, 2026 is massive.
2026 is massive. All right. I'm coming out there, man, for whenever you do the grand opening of the facility where building these boats. We gotta make that happen.
Yeah, you'll definitely be there, and it's not that long.
All right, man. Jeff, thank you so much for doing this, man. I don't know. Yeah, I think we covered a pretty good amount of stuff here. I don't think anybody should have anything to bitch
Yeah,
about.
they're gonna fall asleep on this one. It's too long.
I don't think so, man. There's a lot of good stuff here. I don't think they're going to
Yeah.
get. This is not boring stuff, you know? I think this is pretty cool.
I wake up
So,
at 4:30 every morning, can't wait to go to work. The people that I get to talk to. Oh my gosh, I'm just like the technology that we're building because of them, and uh, it's great.
yeah.
It's freaking great.
Yeah, and you deserve it, man. You deserve it. I mean, you've been a straight shooter the whole time, brother. And I'm happy that you are where you are. And I think, you do care. You do give a shit. You want to give the shoulders. You want them to come home. That's what you want, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's to me, that's genuine. That's real. And if people got a problem with you, they got to, they should reevaluate themselves. I think.
Well, a lot of this is guidance I've gotten from our team. We got a lot of ex-special operators on our teams. We got guys that are willing to do anything to make sure the Black Widow is battlefield proven. So when we hand these things to the Army or any other soldier, they work. So
Yep.
I'm parroting a lot of the advice I've gotten from some great soldiers on our team because I've never served. This is kind of my way of doing that to listen to them to make sure that we deliver the right product.
I love it, Jeff. I love it, man. All right, we will talk soon. I'm sure. Right. Have a great holiday season. If I don't talk to you before then.
Absolutely. You too.
Okay, man. Hold on a second. I'm going to shut this off. Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we had Jeff Thompson from Red Cat Holdings. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor. Give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. All of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.